November 16th, 2020X. Today is the Red Letter Day. I'm the Loch Ness Mobster, and welcome to the Battle of City 17. Today is the day that all the efforts that the Resistance have been building towards. From their strongholds across the city, they've worked towards finishing their Zen Relay teleportation device. Today is when Dr. Isaac Kleiner and Dr. Eli Vance plan to test it out for the first time. However, they're in for a surprise, as on that same day, the G-Man decides to reactivate his agent, Dr. Gordon Freeman, from his stasis sleep he's been in since the Black Mesa incident. I didn't talk much about the G-Man in between two games since he isn't known to have played any part in the events of the past 20 years, but as I stated in Brain Grub lore, it's entirely possible that he is a Sha'ulathoi looking for revenge on the Combine after they invaded his homeworld and enslaved his people. Or, well, slugs. Slug people. We do never hear of his employers in Half-Life 2, so it's even possible that they're dead now. This would make even more sense if they really were the US government, so it's entirely possible he's just gone rogue and trying to use the pawns he has left to bring down the Combine after they defeated the US in the 7-Hour War, and the rest of Earth. Of course, even the G-Man's loyalties are in question, since Dr. Breen says that Gordon Freeman's contract is open to the highest bidder, the contract being given out by the G-Man, so it might be just a bunch of extreme intergalactic politics playing out. But I unfortunately have no real insight on that because I have no clue what the hell is going on with that. Because no one does, it's kept vague for a reason. But I do talk a little bit about it in my G-Man theory, so go watch that if you're interested. But I'm getting off track. Whatever the reasons are, the G-Man teleports Freeman into a train bound for City 17. Upon getting off, he is nearly deported to Nova Prospekt for the transhumanity upgrade, but he is stopped at the last second by undercover civil protection officer Barney Calhoun, formerly of Black Mesa. Like Judith, he is undercover working with the Resistance, trying to help some of the unlawfully arrested citizens escape to the Underground Railroad. He sends Gordon on his way to meet with Dr. Kleiner, but is again almost detained after being discovered during a raid on an apartment complex as they detected a miscount. Gordon is saved again, this time by Alex Vance, the daughter of the Resistance leader Dr. Eli Vance, and who was also rescued as a child from the Black Mesa incident by the G-Man as he foresaw her importance. Alex and Gordon make their way to Dr. Kleiner's hideout in the old Northern Petrol power plant. There, Gordon Freeman dons his Mark V hazardous environment suit, likely the same one tested by Gina Cross the day before the Black Mesa incident, though it was a prototype at the time, though this one has been heavily modified, so it could have been a prototype, but made better. Eli Vance is soon contacted as the experiment is started, with Alex Vance being the test subject. Kleiner comments that they will make a double transmission after the test, as to signal the Resistance can now ferry much larger amounts of people to safety. The experiment is a success with Alex, but when Gordon teleports, Kleiner's pet head crab Lamar tries to jump on his head, causing the teleporter to break. A harmonic reflux is triggered, teleporting Freeman around several places, unfortunately including the office of Dr. Wallace Breen, Earth's administrator, thus alerting the Combine to what the Resistance has been up to. In between two games, I theorized that the Combine knew full well of the Resistance, but intentionally turned a blind eye to them so they could develop the desired teleportation technology for them to steal after it was done. But they would really just keep it a secret if they did finish it, so that they could be off their backs indefinitely. However, now that it's made plain to the Combine that the teleporter work is complete, it is now time to come down on the Resistance and seize their technology. The one fear, however, is Gordon Freeman, who has proven in the Black Mesa incident to be basically undefeatable, and thus may put a wrench in the Combine's plans. Kleiner and Barney send him off to Black Mesa East on foot, but not before Barney hands him his original crowbar recovered from Black Mesa. The battle begins today, really as more of a defeat though. Civil protection officers engage in mass raids on much of the Underground Railroad, chasing Freeman the whole way. They go as far as to shell some strongholds with headcrab shells, flooding the canals with manhacks, and even sending in helicopters. Although they're on the defensive, the continuation of the railroad isn't much of a priority at this point to the Resistance, Since now they have a teleporter, they don't need to create a long Oregon Trail for refugees to travel. They just have to get to Dr. Kleiner's lab and teleport out. Of course, once he fixes it, of course. Some effort is still made to cover up the tracks so that the Combine don't walk down the railroad right to the Resistance's doorstep, but this turns out to be futile. Gordon eventually is given an airboat to get downriver faster, and even destroys a helicopter and many civil protection officers by this afternoon. But unfortunately, he ends up leading the Combine right to Black Mesa East. Upon arrival, he is briefly reunited with Eli Vance, whom he hasn't seen since he sent him up for help after the Resonance Cascade, as well as Alex, and gets to meet Judith too. But shortly after he is given a Black Mesa zero-point energy field manipulator, the base is attacked by the Combine. More shells are dropped, scanners fly overhead, and the base is soon overrun by civil protection officers. Gordon Freeman escapes to what remains of Ravenholm, as Eli Vance and Judith Mossman are captured and taken to Nova Prospekt. Vance is kept imprisoned, while Judith, as she is a double agent, is set to work reconstructing the stolen Resistance teleporter, but for the Combine. Gordon spends the whole night fighting the zombie-infested Ravenholm, as Alex escapes for the coast, thus ending the day, with the Resistance snapping like a twig and having their one triumph of the day squandered after falling into enemy hands. However, despite the setbacks, events have been set into motion once again, and this time, the Combine are the ones who won't be prepared for the consequences. We'll see what happens tomorrow.